You're listening to the Scotty C and Rye Show. I'm Scotty C.
And I'm Ryan Masuda.
On today's show, we talk about foosball stuff because that's really all that happened this past week. How are we doing today, buddy?
We're doing good. We're doing another show in studio, which means you're still in South Florida.
I am in South Florida, which is weird. Really weird, but awesome.
So why are you still in South Florida, Scott?
Well, I came down here that last trip, and we were hanging out at a cool bar, and you decided to get me a job. You're like, yeah, you're gonna go see my buddy on Monday. So literally on my way to the airport back to San Francisco, I stopped at Sweetwater Bar and Grill. Come check it out. It's good. And I wouldn't call it an interview. That's the last thing I'd ever call it. I had an impromptu conversation with this dude, and they offered me a job. So I decided, why not give South Florida another go around for a little bit and see how it goes.
Yeah, the last show we did, we talked about how we were gonna try our best to keep you and kind of pull out all the recruiting efforts necessary to go along with this signing day theme. And you and I, we went over to this bar, and you liked it. You said it was one of the cooler establishments in South Florida, like one that was more similar to kind of what you were looking to get into. Am I correct?
Oh, totally. No, in this area, it is legitimately the only place I've been that I'd be willing to work at. It's not even a conversation.
So we were enjoying a few craft brews at Saltwater Brewery.
Great
down
place.
In
Delray and what? Atlantic?
Yeah, Delray and Atlantic, right off 95. Free plug for you guys.
Yeah, right.
And so we were kind of just talking, and we just, I was like, you know what? Let's throw this bait out there, see what we can get. And now we're coming to visit you over at our favorite spot.
Yeah,
so.
Dude, Sweetwater's rad, man. They've been great to me so far. Became fast friends with everyone. And, they've just corrupted me. I used to be such a good boy. And in just a few short days, the language that I use now it's just appalling.
I do feel partially responsible for that, and I just hope that somewhere in your mother's heart she can forgive me.
Oh, dude. Oh, man. Talking about Joyce, because I know she's going to hear this. So my first day at Sweetwater, I flew in, and I was running behind because I kind of dilly-dalled at the airport when I got off. And so I basically just, dropped my stuff off and had to bomb up to Sweetwater. And I just, my mom had told me, call me when you get in, call me when you get in. That's my best impersonation of my mother as I can do. But it just slipped my mind. I was running behind. I had other shit to think about. So I'm literally
Well, you were coming from San Francisco to go straight to work.
Yeah. My brain was a little fried. It was an overnight trip, blah, blah, blah. And literally, I've been standing in Sweetwater for 1 hour in totality of my first shift. And who comes walking in before we're even open? Joyce Clifford. Just comes strolling in. Everyone's like, oh, man, we open at 5. She goes, no, I'm here to see my son. I have to see if he's sleeping at my apartment this evening.
Like a boss.
And I don't know how mortified I could look, if I could still look like a mortified teenager, but just translate that to a 29-year-old male with a massive red beard, and that's how I look. I gave her probably the gnarliest eyes I could come up with, and she's just realized that she shouldn't have been there. You shouldn't have been there. I don't care how many mothers you've talked to who said they would have done the same thing. And thankfully, she immediately left. And I somehow I just slipped past that whole experience, because it hasn't been brought back up.
So that was your first impression.
Yeah.
At work.
I see where my son is.
Was your mommy coming to check up to see if you were going to be coming home for the evening?
Yeah. Amazing. Just great. And then she's like, I had to check on you. I've been living over 3,000 miles away from this woman for almost a decade. And then now she has to check it. Now, of all the times. It was brutal moment. So thanks, Joyce. Love you.
Well, let's rewind this for a second, because as you mentioned, 3,500 miles away. So you've been basically pulling off, and you had this interview before you were going back to San Francisco, because that's how we do things. We schedule things on a whim. And so you were going back and forth from South Florida to San Francisco in an effort to sort your life out in what seemed like, 72 hours?
Yeah, it seemed that way because I wasn't planning on coming back until a little bit later. And then, I had to get back when I had to get back. So it was just a thing. It was a quick little trip, had to say goodbye to little blind baby Ray again. Poor little guy, he's just all by him. No, he's not by himself.
Scott did not abandon a blind cat.
Yeah, he's just not in a room by himself with an open bag of cat food. I swear. That sounded sarcastic. But I swear, that's not like he's just, there's people watching him. He's being loved and taken care of.
We will come back for you, Ray. Yeah. I promise.
Ray, I'm finding you a home. I promise. Well, anywho, Ray, I miss you.
So your first impressions were very, very good, and aside from your mom pulling like showing up at the middle school dance to remind you that you forgot your underwear, it was all good.
Yeah, man. No, it's been great. They've been great to me. It's a cool spot. I'm excited. And we'll see how it all goes. People got to start visiting me there. Ryan Ashley made it. Where the rest of you?
Yeah, just we'll go visit together. I mean, it's fun.
We'll have a party.
When we were there last weekend, they gave us a lot of drinks.
Yeah, that they paid for.
Yeah, all of us, full price.
Yeah, all the drinks.
And then we tipped them so well.
I know, right? Don't ever tip me that well again, by the way. That was inappropriate. Made me feel just like, oh wait, all right.
I make my exit quick, man. Yeah. Quick like that. Well, let's talk a little bit about what may have allowed me to tip you so well. Some Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So you, despite the LeGarrette Blount factor, were back rooting for the Patriots, correct?
Yeah, me and the Patriots had made up this year because Blount wasn't on the team to start the year, and they were having a great season. And by the time they signed him again, it was just kind of like I just didn't have it in me to break up with him again. And yeah, man, I was full throttle, especially after we haven't been able to do this for a couple weeks, so we didn't get to touch on Deflategate or whatever the fuck, Ballghazi, or just a bunch of dudes saying balls repeatedly.
How did Tom Brady keep a straight face in his press conference?
Dude, you could tell he was just like what do you want me to say?
Everyone was making it out like he was so uncomfortable. I would have been uncomfortable too if I was having to say balls in like 15 different forms and not crack up, because if I crack up, I'm just going to make the situation worse.
At me just like, why are you guys taking this so serious? Like, I have nothing else to tell you. Like, what do you want? Like, it's not my fault. I went 9 for 9 after they changed the balls. Like, I didn't notice the difference.
Well, and a report that came out, and this just kind of shows how, once again, how poorly the NFL handles things, is the NFL was leaking things left and right throughout the whole process about how, the 12 balls were all underinflated. And then it came out that only 1 out of the 12 was actually underinflated. The other ones were kind of minusculely under the PSI, which whatever,
science.
natural phenomenons. But it just kind of plays into how incompetent Roger Goodell and his group of henchmen are, because they're leaking this thing out over the course of the week, and it's just like the Ray Rice thing. Stuff's leaking out. And how interesting is it that the NFL was able to so quickly get a hold of a video of a ball boy going into a locker room bathroom with balls, but could not get the video of Ray Rice knocking out his fiance in a casino where every square inch is videotaped.
I know, man. It's brutal. The whole thing was just such a joke. And so that really revved me up. Like after Tom Brady's press conference and watching those talking heads, like Mark Brunell just bash him. Like he got a little emotional. He's like, I don't believe him and blah 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 blah. Dude, I was like revved up for the Pats, man. I was so ready for them to win this fucking game.
So you found it slightly odd that a player for the Ravens, a coach of the Colts, the executive of the Colts, all these teams that had a lot of battles with Peyton Manning and the Patriots over the course of the past decade.
Yeah.
We're not taking the Patriots side. You found that odd.
It was so surprising to me that they weren't taking Tom Brady's side. It was just the whole thing was such a joke. It was really ESPN at its worst in so many ways.
And with the whole cheaters thing, I think if you look at every NFL team, there's a whole lot of cheaters out there that go way beyond deflating footballs. I mean, the Seahawks, their opponent, probably the most roided up Adderall, ADD focused team there is. The Ravens, Mr. Ray Lewis with your triceps tear that in the past was a season-ending injury. 12 weeks later, you're going ham in the playoffs with your deer antler spray.
He took all the deer antler spray.
all of it. And then you got guys like Terrell Suggs who, he's on the Ravens despite having some domestic violence issues that are kind of similar to Ray Rice. Yeah, so you can look at every NFL team. There's some steroid issues. There's probably some others as well. And, hey, even those Joe Montana teams of the 90s and those John Elway teams where, they won back-to-back Super Bowls, didn't they get in trouble for cheating the salary cap?
Yes, I believe that is true.
Ah, okay. Well, good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yes, yeah. So the whole thing was just like blown so out of proportion, man. And so anyway, so we get to game day and I am revved up. Thank you. We just got coffee. Hey. A little creamer. I'll take this. I know this is very interesting to you, America.
Yeah, this is not a visual medium, but just try to – yeah. Good. Thank you. It's not a visual medium, but Scott and I are really happy for some coffee right now. I'm just going to grab a spoon real quick.
Your spoon.
So anyway, let's we don't need to rehash the whole game, but let's kind of go back into that fourth quarter there. What's going through your head? How are you feeling? I mean,
all right, so they're down 10. I'm stressed. Was I panicking yet? No. Because it was after that 3rd and 2, or it wasn't a 3rd and 2. It was a 3rd down play where Doug Baldwin drops what should have been a complete pass. That was my first sign of like, finally, something is going our way now. So then Brady's leading the comeback. Boom, comeback happens. Because Tom Brady had the best quarter of his life. Maybe not his life, but in the most pressure-packed situation. It was amazing. And then
13 out of 15.
Yeah, 13 out of 15. Future leader of the world, free world, Tom Brady. I would have given him an over-the-pants hand job at that moment if he had asked. But only over the pants.
Because anything other than that would have been weird.
Yeah, seriously. Anyways. So then Seattle hits that bomb. That crazy juggling, should have been an incompletion bomb. And I don't think I've ever been lower watching professional sports. Because that would have been 3 straight Super Bowl losses from bullshit catches. All right, the Mario Manningham one maybe wasn't bullshit, but like it kind of was, man. That was a crazy throwing catch. Eli Manning has never thrown a ball that good in his life. All right, and then of course David Tyree, who never caught another NFL pass. And then so this one was just I was just gut punched. I was so depressed. And then they run a play, and then Belichick isn't calling timeout. And I am losing my mind at the TV. Because I'm like, have you never played Madden? Timeout. And it's just not happening. I thought the game was over. I legitimately thought it was over. And then that kid fucking picked the ball off, and I was so happy. I lost my voice within 30 seconds. I lost my mind.
There's so much that I think can be broken down in that last 3 minutes of that football game, because you have the whole lucky catch thing.
Ugh.
The fact that it's in Glendale where the David Tyree catch happened.
So bad. The whole thing was just so bad. And they had that Tyree catch prepped, ready to go. They're like, oh, crazy catch.
And the crazy thing with the first game, with that first Giants game, when Tyree made that insane catch, was there was a play where Brady barely missed Randy Moss on a Hail Mary, inches, and that they're inches away from being 19-0. And so this last sequence of events, initially now that you've had a chance to look at it, do you still think Belichick was bailed out by not calling timeout? You still think he should have taken those 2 timeouts there?
I mean, I guess. I don't know what, like, he hasn't really explained his point of view on the situation, so I'll never really know his side of the argument. But every scene, well, all right, not every scene. As someone who's only ever played Madden, I would have let them score and call time, like, in that situation. Just save as much clock time as possible to try and get the ball back down the field.
Do you think in his head he was thinking, though, that, like, if they take those 2 timeouts and say the Seahawks score on that second down, so then –
But you just let them score at that point too, though.
You let them score, you're down 3, you have 1 timeout in your pocket, probably about 50 seconds. Can that New England offense – because you figure they're going to kick it out of the end zone, so they get the ball at the 20. Can that New England offense get you 65, 70 yards with that time, with the way their offense is constructed? They're not a downfield offense, as you saw. I mean,
yeah,
they pretty much threw 6-yard passes the whole game. So, like, can you count on that happening?
You can't. I mean, can't count on anything. But I mean, if you look at that, I mean, Dante Hightower, I mean, had a miracle
Save the
tackle.
game. Save the game. That is probably one of the greatest plays that'll be forgotten.
Yeah,
was him getting off of a Russell Okung one-on-one block and just, like, clotheslining his ankles.
Which is insane because Marshawn Lynch usually doesn't go down like that. It was just an insane play. And then for Butler to get that pick, you know, and, like, I don't think it was a bad play call. They had it set up. He was open, but Butler said, you know, he's like, I recognize the formation. Like, I knew what they were going to do.
They practiced it. They came out and said that they had practiced that, like, defending that play.
Yeah, like they had that play fucking locked up. He made a fantastic break on the ball and just made the greatest play of all time. I love you, man.
Well, let me ask you this then, because this is kind of like after I had some time to think about it, and initially I was like, I'm like, why isn't he calling timeout? But do you think that Pete Carroll was expecting him to call a timeout, and by not calling timeout, Belichick kind of mind screwed him a little bit?
I think that it is in play as a possibility because all of a sudden they're just like, oh, wait, we have to, like, do this now?
Yeah, because, like, it's one thing for us to sit here and we're on the couches, but when you're in that environment, the crowd starts to shift into this holy cow, like something monumental is going to happen here. Clock's ticking away, and this team's not doing what we expect them to do. I feel like the timeouts would have benefited Seattle in that situation. They could have sat down, talked it out, gotten the right play. This forced Carroll to think fast, and as much praise as Pete Carroll gets, he's one of the most conservative coaches in the NFL, and this is also a guy that blew his 4th and 2 against Texas in the national title game with Lendale White under a similar pressure circumstance. It's like, I feel like Belichick was kind of playing mind games with Carroll, and Carroll kind of choked.
I mean, again, I don't think you could say he choked. You know, I think Butler made a great play. I think the logic behind throwing on second down, in your mind, in a short yardage situation like that, worst case scenario is incompletion, then you can run the ball, call the timeout, and have whatever option you want for 4th down. So I do think it definitely had them on tilt a little bit. I wouldn't say he choked, though. Because like I said, dude, he was over. I mean, if you break that play down, man, they had the look they wanted.
When Russell throws the ball, he's open.
Yeah.
Like when he cocks back to throw it and you see the screenshot.
I also feel like
there.
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't put – for a play like that, though, I mean, if I was a football coach, I wouldn't put Russell in the gun. Put him under center, have him take like a half a step back, and just have that ball out. You know, that's my only, you know.
Yeah, choke's the wrong word for it. It's because, there was an interesting article on 538 that pointed out, there were 66 throws from the 1 yard line this year. None of them were intercepted.
Right.
So, statistically, you're playing the odds.
Space.
Yeah, statistically, like that's a good play call. And, Marshawn Lynch, I think it had been mentioned, he's not good at goal-to-go situations from the 1. It was also in the article. And so, I mean, obviously, you're playing the numbers, but that's kind of what you need to do. And I'm not saying I wouldn't have given it to Marshawn Lynch, but knowing it's one of those things where you have a timeout in your pocket, you want to try to. You're just trying to score, and if you're going to throw the ball, second down is the most popular down that the ball gets thrown on. So the Patriots had a stacked, solid, big front up there to defend the run. Again, I just think it was a phenomenal play.
It was nuts, man. It was a nutso play. I mean, like we said, the Hightower play before that was crazy. I think Seattle, definitely was on a little bit of tilt. I think because if the Patriots are able to recognize that play so often, or they're able to read that play so easily, they obviously have that one like as a go-to. And I think once they realized the Patriots were calling a timeout, they were just like, boom, just fuck it. This is the one. And so I think it definitely contributed. But I think it really boils down to Butler just making an amazing play.
I did think it was a bit sad, though, that like Pete Carroll stepped up. He took the blame. Marshawn Lynch, who I think probably won Super Bowl week more than anyone else, and just the way he treated the sports media.
It was amazing.
But Marshawn Lynch stepping up saying, "Nah, I'm not mad about the play call. It's a team game, whatever." And then Paul Hewitt, he's the offensive coordinator.
Darren Bevel.
He goes, he could have done a little bit more to get to referring to the receiver. Like, he could have done a little bit more on that play. It's like, you were the one that actually called the play, bro. If anyone should be stepping up and being a man about this, right, it's you.
Yeah, dude, Butler did pwn him, though. He was just like, bam, my ball. It was crazy. And then he almost fumbled it. I don't know if a lot of people realize that. Butler came like this close to fumbling that ball. So how'd you do on your props?
The one that was the most successful, and I owe it to Pete Carroll, who did not hold to his conservative traits, was the first half ending in a tie. That was that one did not look very good with 6 seconds left. But that one worked out well. I hit all of the overs, obviously, on Tom Brady's passing attempts.
Nice.
I was pushing really hard for that Julian Edelman MVP. I was hoping he could maybe get like one more touchdown instead of like when Amendola got that one after he missed him on the little route. But Edelman over on catches. The one that surprised me, I was very surprised that roughing the passer was not called in that game. You figure with those guys, But
I'm so bummed. The Pete Carroll being mentioned as the former Patriots coach was free money, but my account was empty because I'm a loser.
Well, as we mentioned, you did just have a big cross-country move, and kind of.
Yeah. No, I lost my money out of pure stupidity. Don't play the online casino games on betting websites. All right, just trust me.
This is free advice.
Yeah. Especially online roulette.
And the other one that I was really hoping for before this was what the game would go to overtime, because I had the game going to overtime. That one was I would have hit that one really, really nicely. That was like 28-1.
Ooh.
I was very, very sad when the Seahawks scored instead of tying it up. So when they went up by 4, I was like, oh God, like they could have so easily kicked the field goal. They could have gone to overtime. Could have really partied at Sweetwater. But yeah, I was very upset as well because the player to record the first New England catch was Gronk and not Amendola, who caught the second pass because Amendola's bitch ass was running the kickoff back, so he needed a breather on that first one. And that first pass to Gronk was just such a bailout, just a 2-yard. I was like, I'm just sitting here at the TV screaming, lateral, that's a rush, and Vegas didn't see it that way.
No.
So.
God, how much fun would it be to party with Gronk right now?
Dude, don't underestimate Julian Edelman. Apparently, Julian Edelman's showing up to like Boston University at like frat parties.
Did you see the girl on Tinder?
I did not.
Everyone, go to Deadspin immediately. There's a girl who made her Tinder like there's moments. If you've ever been on Tinder, Rye hasn't. I am a Tinderer. They have this thing called moments that you can put up, and this chick put up a moment. You see like half her face, and then Edelman passed out in her bed, and the caption is, "I just fucked Edelman, no lie." Which then that's been linked to an old thing they put up of a chick in New York who had another Tinder thing was, "I fucked Odell Beckham Jr. Get on my level, cunts," which is amazing.
Wifey material.
Get on my level. It's so good.
The future mothers of America, boys.
Right, dude. But yeah, Element killed it.
Yeah.
I forgot what we were talking about.
So yeah, Gronk needs to catch up to Edelman.
All right, Gronk. Partying with Gronk.
Yeah,
yes.
partying with Gronk.
That'd be
The
fun.
lovable Gronk.
Did you think he just drove straight to Tucson to hit Sorority Row, or like?
Oh man, what? You couldn't set the over under high enough. Like, you really couldn't.
Did you see the video of him and Lynch playing Mortal Kombat
I
on
did
Conan?
not. No, I
so
heard
good.
about it.
Highly suggested, people.
Yeah. So Marshawn Lynch is actually a pretty personable guy when he wants to be.
Yeah, he just doesn't care. He's like, fuck you guys.
Well, did you see Sal Palantonio's interview with the guy's name who made the interception?
Butler.
His interview with him afterwards is just like so condescending, and you're like, oh yeah, so this is why Marshawn Lynch is a dick to you guys, because you guys are just like, you're lazy, and for some reason you're just going to be condescending. And yeah, I can.
It was so good, like because that chick ass Kraft, like he's just like, I don't care, like we just won the Super Bowl, shut up.
Yeah.
But another great thing about Deflake is now Kraft just shunning Goodell, which is so good.
We need more owners to be fed up with him.
Yeah,
We really do.
so,
And it made me so happy how he just pretty much brushed him aside. Just, give me my trophy. Get out of here.
you know what else I didn't like was how slowly Kurt Warner was walking with the Super Bowl trophy. It was like you like did something. He's like, yes. Like, hurry up, bro. Pass that thing off.
Yeah, he mad. They all mad.
So, anyways,
Oh, man.
Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time. 4-2 in the Super Bowl after 2 bullshit losses. And future leader of the free world. So I'm pretty stoked.
Can you remember a Super Bowl where the starting receivers on both sides were so bad? Like,
No.
I
Because
mean-
at least last year the Seahawks had Harvin
and Tate.
and Tate. Olin Tate's good. You didn't do that well for Detroit this year, though.
When Calvin was out, he was pretty good.
Yeah. No, man. There's usually at least one, like,
Because even when the Patriots were winning with like Deion Branch and like Troy Brown, like Deion Branch was
He was
better
good.
than
Yeah.
everything they had, this year. I mean, Edelman, guy's just such a crafty little dude, but
I can't imagine being 200 pounds at fucking like 5'10". That's great. And be fast. Like, I don't know how.
I feel like we're about to enter a race discussion with 5'10", 200-pound, fast, shifty.
All right, fine. It's surprising for a white guy, all right?
There, I said it.
So, I mean, any chance of a repeat for the Patriots?
Oh, man. I don't think so. I mean, there's always a chance, right? But I wouldn't bet on it. Probably wouldn't bet on it.
No?
No. Because, you think they were dead in the water against Baltimore. They had just this untimely, insane sequence of events in the Super Bowl.
So crazy.
Like, so close. It's like we mentioned how they're one play away from being, like, a couple of plays away from being 6-0 in the Super Bowl, and they're a couple of plays away from maybe only having 1 or 2. It's crazy how it works.
Yeah.
Like, really, the only one they blew out was Donovan McNabb's dry heaving, puking behind in Jacksonville.
I didn't get tired.
Donovan McNabb running his 10-minute drill and vomiting all over the place.
That's so soft. So soft. I mean, I don't know, man. You think about the teams, like, who has who coming back. And I think the Patriots have a really strong shot, man. If you keep Brady healthy, it's not like they really have to pay anyone on the offense this year. Revis, obviously isn't going to – they're either going to restructure or do – I don't know what's going to happen there. But, we've gotten by without him in the past, even though he's been really good for him. And maybe he wants to come back, have a shot at another ring instead of, like, just go get paid again. I mean, most likely he's just going to go get paid again.
He's a mercenary.
Yeah. But I don't think losing Revis devastates that team by any means.
I mean, they're always in it with the division that they play in.
Yeah.
But
and with the Bills hiring Rex Ryan, so they know that. They know how to deal with that. The Dolphins hiring Mike Tannenbaum, which is just like the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
And the Jets got Chan Gailey running their offense.
Oh, what? Is that a thing?
That's a thing.
Oh, dude. Yeah, so division's locked up. Just put it in the bank. What's that? Like probably like 1-5.
Yeah, well, and I mean, you look at the AFC, I mean, the big contenders are who? The Colts, the Bengals, the Ravens. The Ravens are the worst matchup for them.
Right.
That's like that's just.
But they're another year old. I mean, that defense isn't young by any means.
They just lost their offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And
the Colts might be able to take that leap, but they don't.
They need a lot of help on defense.
Yeah, and they need a running game.
Yeah.
They need some semblance of a running game. I mean, the Bengals aren't going to take that leap with Dalton.
No.
I mean, that's been and Marvin Lewis. Like that's just not a thing.
You think if the Steelers get in, that might be a tough matchup for the Patriots, but they need to improve on defense.
Again, yeah, just the old defense. God, who else? I mean, the Broncos. Peyton's you can't make it a whole year. I think
well, sorry, but it's like, do you trust Gary Kubiak against Bill Belichick?
Yeah, no.
There's no universe where that exists for me.
Right? I mean, the AFC's like, yeah. There's not a lot. There's not a lot there in that.
The NFC, I think, is far tougher.
So, I think the Pats got a great shot. Brady can stay healthy. We'll see though. It's a long way away, but I'm stoked.
Just draft Dorial Green Beckham. Go ham.
God, I'm like, what, the third round? Don't even tempt me with that. Well, here's the thing. Watch the Patriots sign Marshawn Lynch this offseason, too.
Sign DeMarco Murray.
Ooh. He's a little too flat. Nah, that won't work. No DeMarco.
You think Dorial Green Beckham lasts to the third round?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Right, well, let's bet a round of shots right now. I say under third round. You say third. You say third or
third. Okay. He's a fucking idiot. NFL has not been rewarding idiots in the draft recently.
Johnny Manziel, first round. Oh man, so I think I might actually have to admit that I was wrong on Johnny.
Johnny Rehab.
I actually think I might have to admit that.
We'll see, man. Well, rehab when you're that age, like, unless he's been doing just like hella blow,
which is entirely possible.
It's definitely in the cards. Yeah. It's just a matter. It's just a maturity thing, man. Like, when you have to do classes and all that sort of stuff, like, he's probably not ready. Like, not ready. He just has to make a choice. Like, is he going to be professional? Or he just want to be a fucking spoiled rich white kid? Because he's been a spoiled rich white kid his entire life. So that's really like all he has to be thinking about.
Yeah. His situation though, it's getting worse up there. I mean, there's so many reports out there about the dysfunction of the Browns organization, and a lot of his supporters are gone with the Mike Shanahan or Kyle Shanahan, leaving. And so, we'll see, but Josh Gordon now gone for the year. So again, there's Jordan Cameron's a free agent. It's one of those things where it's like a situational thing where there's not a lot around in Cleveland, and it might be one of those things where just bad situation, bad work ethic, and it's just
not going to work.
It's not going to work because we saw what Mike Evans did, and maybe Mike Evans covered a little bit for what Johnny, for what he's known.
Yeah, Mike Evans is good, and that offensive line he was running behind was pretty epic. So, yeah, I don't know. I hope it gets it together.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be wrong, but I feel like I'm trending in the wrong direction.
Yeah, especially when they could have had fucking Teddy Bridgewater. Mm-hmm. Brutal. So I guess this leads us into a little bit of college football.
Yeah.
National Signing Day.
The meat market.
Yeah. When you have a day of grown men fawning over 18-year-old children.
It's borderline. Some aren't even 18.
Yeah,
so it makes it really weird.
Yep. A little creepy. But no. Signing Day. Well, I guess we should start with the teams we care about.
Mm-hmm. So Oregon State. Let's how how was the first class away from the one Mike Riley?
So Gary Anderson came in pretty much right when the dead period started. So kind of a tough time. Looked at the commitments that they had. They narrowed that list to 9 that they wanted to keep. They kept 6 of those guys. And then outside of that, we pretty much just ravaged Utah's recruiting class because we hired their defensive coordinator and D-line coach or linebacker. I don't know. Another positional defensive coach. 2 Samoan guys. Anyways, we stole a lot of their recruits. Like a lot. Like minimum 7. I'd have to legitimately look it up. So we ravaged Utah's recruiting class. We had 5 commitments from the state of Florida. Only ended up with 4. One of them switched to Florida yesterday. I don't know why he would have done that. Because if I was from Miami and could go to UF or Oregon State, I would obviously go to Florida. Yeah, it's not even a question. So yeah, we signed a kid from Aquinas, the backup running back there. Deltron Sands, I think his name is. Little shifty little dude. He's like 5'7", 170. Fast. He was playing behind Jordan Scarlett this year, who ended up at UF. He was a big time running back. So I think this kid's going to be really good for us. Because I'll take a 3-star under the radar running back from Florida any day of the week over a 4-star from some other shitty state. We flipped a kid from Arizona State, this Paul Lucas. But yeah, I mean, we had a great linebacker, Christian
Polynesian.
Yeah, I don't know how to say those words. That was probably our best recruit. So it's a pretty ho-hum class. I think there's actually a surprising amount of quality for the short amount of time that they had. So yeah, we'll see. We finished 12 out of 12 in the Pac-12 according to the recruiting rankings, which isn't stellar, but deal with it. Worst things have happened.
Do you feel you guys addressed the most pressing needs?
Well, there's a lot of needs. I don't know what I can say. I don't know if you watched them this year. A lot of needs. I think that Lucas kid will play receiver for us, so that will help. But yeah, we already got a ton of linemen in the system. So we signed a lot of defensive, guys who could, depending on how they mature, be DNs or D linemen or linebackers who end up being DNs. There's a lot of Polynesian flavor to this class, like a lot, which fits in well, man. Like, because that was my biggest concern when Utah came into Pac-12 was we'd be going head-to-head with them a lot due to the Mormon connections and all that sort of stuff. So, so I'm glad we stole some of their best recruiters.
I'm going to refill my drink as I talk about LSU's class here. You want some more coffee?
I'm good.
All right.
I'll get too jittery. I'll take some more whiskey though.
All right. Well, LSU, obviously, I think our big needs coming into this class were offensive linemen, linebackers, and depending on how you want to look at it, the quarterback position and also the running back position because thank you. Because last year with the running back situation, Leonard Fournette was the only running back that we took, and we were going to be losing. We had Darrell Williams come in as well, but we lost Kenny Hilliard, lost Terrence McGee to graduation. So there was a big need for the running backs, and I don't think there's a school in the country that brought in better running backs than LSU did. I mean, just Darius Geis and Nick Brissett alone. Darius Geis is this 5'10", just 210 pounds, just bruiser from Catholic High. He was the MVP of the Under Armour All-American game. He actually switched to receiver for that game because of the positional need, ended up winning it, had 2 touchdowns on 3 catches. Just an absolute bowling ball, and the kid's really, really fast. Nick Brissett, a local kid who, I mean, Catholic High is also in Baton Rouge, but he went to school on LSU's campus at U High at the laboratory school there. There's no player in the state of Louisiana who's rushed for more yards or more career touchdowns than Nick Brissett. So we're really reloading there. And then there's another kid coming in who is another just 5'11", 220-pound just bulldozer of a human being who will probably see some time at fullback since LSU dismissed who was expected to be the starting fullback going into this year. So we really reloaded at the running back position, got some really quality depth behind Fournette. And I think all three of those guys are going to see time this year. And just a little free advice out there. I know Leonard Fournette's a 7-1 Heisman favorite. Don't take it, guys. Les Miles likes to just really, really run multiple backs. And one of the attractions of coming to LSU is you're not going to be running to the ground like you would be at, say, Alabama. Like, we're going to rotate backs and we're going to keep you fresh for the NFL. And I just don't think there's a running back that's going to get enough carries in a Les Miles system to ever be in serious contention for the Heisman. That being said, we also pulled probably one of the best defensive back classes LSU's ever pulled.
Oh, that's a bold statement.
Yeah.
They've had some pretty good D-backs.
They've had some pretty good ones, but the only player we pulled out of the state of Florida, Kevin Tolliver, the second from Jacksonville. This kid's an early enrollee. He's just an absolute physical specimen. Dante Jackson, the number one player in the state of Louisiana that we were able to convince to stay home. This is the second straight year we pulled the number one player in Louisiana, so that's really huge for Les. That's never happened before. And Les Miles actually compared Dante Jackson to USC's cornerback Adoree Jackson, who we were in for until late last year. And Adoree Jackson, a kid who played extremely
He's good.
He played really well on defense for USC. Also had, I think, 3 touchdowns on 10 catches on offense, played some special teams as well. And I think that's the role that Les envisions for Dante. I mean, this kid, you don't want to throw out names like Patrick Peterson for an 18-year-old that's never played, but that's kind of how Les envisions him maturing and, absolutely a monster and a home run get. And then we went into the state of Texas, pulled a couple of corners out of there. Xavier Lewis is a phenomenal athlete. So just a lot of quality depth to just kind of keep reloading that defensive back class. Rashard Robinson's a local kid from here in Florida who was dismissed from the team. He was suspended after, I think, the 3rd or 4th game last year. He didn't travel. It was right before the Ole Miss game. And he was suspended, and he's been dismissed from the school, so he's trying to get his stuff in order. So with Jalen Collins going to the NFL, there's a starting spot opposite of Tre'Davious White. So we'll see who locks that down. It's probably at this point going to be either Ed Parrish to start, and then you might see Kevin Tolliver kind of take over that spot once he learns the ropes. But just 3 dominant physical guys, like in that 6 feet to 6'2" range, can hit, can run. But the other big need was offensive line, and that's where, Jeff Grimes, he was kind of hired late in the process last year from Virginia Tech. Didn't really know what we were getting because LSU didn't really get too much last year on the offensive line. This year, man, did he close hard. He pulled that Valentine Okiki kid, or Okiki Valentine.
Okiki Valentine. That's straight from a Key and Peele.
So he's a 5-star, grew up in Nigeria. We hope he can be cleared by the NCAA with his grades, but all signs point to he should be eligible. We also pulled Sage Tahuma, who also has a brother on the team. He's a big guard from the state of Texas that UCLA was in on late.
Oh, fuck UCLA. They closed so hard yesterday. Anyway, sorry.
No, it's all right. And the other big thing that I think it's important to remember with Grimes is he was able to convince, LSU's 2 draft-eligible linemen to stay. We were losing Leo Collins, but we were still able to keep Adal Alexander and Andrew Hawkins. So keeping those 2 and then bringing these big guys in is going to just really reinforce the line. And cheers to, Coach Orgeron and Kevin Steele. They were able to rope Arden Key, who's number 3 weak side defensive end out of the state of Georgia, 6'5", 230. Early comparisons to Kiki Mingo, but I think at this point he has more weight on him than Kiki Mingo did, probably until his sophomore year. So he'll probably get some immediate run. No defensive tackles were brought in. We we brought in some linemen. Most of them were defensive ends, but I think 2016 is a big, big year in the state of Louisiana and Texas for defensive tackles. And, Coach Orgeron Steele came in late to the process, and no linebackers were taken. So we can thank John Chavis for that, who I think Texas A&M is finding out right now, because Texas A&M didn't really pull in a lot of the guys that they were expecting on defense. And you get what you pay for there, A&M. Enjoy them. Enjoy Third and Chavis. Enjoy, it's one thing to run that Mustang package with a bunch of linebackers when you have LSU's depth, but A&M doesn't have that depth. And so LSU, no linebacker. We thought we were going to get Leo Lewis, but he ended up signing with Mississippi State. So, all in all, 247 had LSU's class at number 5. Another robust job from Frank Wilson and company. And, we just got to get consistent quarterback play, man. That's the only thing holding us back.
Again, no quarterback, right?
Well, we took an early enrollee out of the state of Texas. This Justin McMillan kid. Played at the highest level in Texas, but for the listeners from Louisiana, their school is very similar to John Curtis, where there's like a very sustained run of dominance there, but they tend to run the ball more than they throw it. He's a tweener. He's really light, and he's got a kind of long hitch, long delivery. So they're hoping as he builds up strength, gets a little bit bigger, he won't have to wind up as much. He'll be able to drive the ball more with his legs. But he's already come out and stated that he wants to take a red shirt. And honestly, if he got thrown into the fire this year, we would be in a lot of trouble. So it's a major concern because right now it's just Harris and Jennings. We have a commitment from the number 1 dual threat quarterback in 2016. But again, that's 2016. It doesn't help us right now. And who knows if we hold on to it. So Cam Cameron's already said that one of his big mistakes this past year was not tailoring the offense more towards his quarterback strengths, where he's trying to keep them running like Mettenberger, the pro style, not doing as much spread. You saw him shift to more of the spread attack towards the end of the year against Texas A&M. But when you run that spread system, you see it with Ohio State, quarterbacks get hit and they get hurt. If Harris hopefully wins this job, because I don't know if we can deal with another season of Anthony Jennings. And with some of the wide receivers that we brought in, you got to get them. We have so many skill position players, and the one thing we're missing is the quarterback. So it's all on Brandon Harris at this point.
Crazy, man. It's crazy that team could be pretty epic.
It's the one. It's so weird, man. It's just the one. You look through Les Miles.
I just know JT Barrett, Cordell Jones, or the first guy, one of the
Braxton.
Two of those guys are going to be standing on a sideline all year. It's insane.
Yep.
Absolutely insanity.
Yeah, and there's always the talk of Braxton and Everett Golston, but Everett Golston would be nice, but he wouldn't be able to transfer until the summer anyway. And at that point, it's so what? He's going to be basically going through fall practice, and that's all he's going to have. He's not going to have a chance to come in the spring, get reps with the guys and stuff like that. So you just hope Brandon Harris can win the job. Just got to pray.
Right.
So did anything else catch you from signing day that?
I was surprised how strong Florida closed. Alabama, again, with the number 1 class. Just tons of depth. Harbaugh, not exactly closing as well as maybe everyone thought. But, he came in so late. I would gladly sacrifice a year of recruiting for Jim Harbaugh. Michigan fans can totally deal with that. And plus, so 2 of the kids, they thought they higher level kids, they thought they were in on. One of them being Roquan Smith, put Michigan University on the card. So automatically they should pull his scholarship offer. As soon as that came up, they just should have called yo, man, just take that down. You're not coming here. So, but they flipped a Texas commit at quarterback, big old kid. He's 6'7", massive dude. So that's quasi exciting. Oregon, not doing. They did good, but with the way UCLA and USC closed, You know,
USC closed very well.
yeah,
Very well.
you know, getting Amon Marshall. You know, that was pretty obvious. I mean, Michigan was a finalist for him, but
Yeah, so was LSU.
Yeah,
Scott and I have been doing air quotes. Again, this is not a visual medium.
What?
But
So I mean, that was a big pickup. Besides that, and that kid going to Missouri, I thought that was kind of cool. So, but it's pretty ho-hum. Like, you never know how this stuff works out. So as long as my Beavers do better next year, I'll be stoked.
how did Nebraska do?
They finished with like a top 30 class, 33rd, something like that. They did all right. I think a lot of those guys from Pelini. They only brought over 2 guys who were committed at Oregon State. So it doesn't matter. Nebraska's going to suck. So I just can't picture Mike Riley going up against Urban Meyer, Jim Harbaugh, Mark D'Antonio, and doing any sort of winning. So it's just not a thing for me.
Kirk Ferentz might actually beat him.
Yeah, you got Jerry Kill up in Minnesota doing a surprisingly, good job.
James Franklin.
Yeah, Penn State, now that they have a full allotment.
Randy Edsall ain't playing around in Maryland either.
No. Yeah, I think the Big Ten might be in for a rebound these next couple of years. We'll see. It'll be interesting to watch. So, yeah, that's about it, though, for me.
Well, we made it through another signing day, another Super Bowl, and now everyone can shift their attention to the NBA and watch a little Anthony Davis and
Anthony Davis just killing it.
Damian Lillard angry ball.
Oh God, Damian Lillard getting snubbed. The Blazers are not doing so hot right now. They've lost like 8 of 10 or something. Not good.
Clifford stink.
Oh, I didn't mean to. So the second half of the NBA season is going to be crazy in the West. I'm so bummed I don't get to watch that Warriors-Hawks game tomorrow because I'm working. Bullshit. I've been looking forward to this game for like 2 months, it feels like.
Did you watch Steph Curry in heat check mode last night?
I missed it, dude. 51.
Sorry.
Dude, they're so good.
I should have texted you.
They're so much fun to watch. But it's really cool.
What do you make of the Cavs right now?
They're putting it together, but I just without Love doing anything, they're not going anywhere. So
I wonder what LeBron enjoyed down here in Miami. This rejuvenated him so quickly. Must have been the humidity.
Yeah, the heat. Who knows? He's got like 3 side pieces down
here. Well, let's speaking of the Heat, Hassan Whiteside. So apparently the Heat are above average when he plays and horrible when he's on the bench.
Yeah.
Can he play the whole 48 minutes? Because, what was it like? The Mavericks went on like a 20-something run the other night. The Wolves, I
know what's brutal is like they can't even extend him for some reason. Like there's some like
they can't extend him until 2016.
Yeah, there's some weird rule and he'll be an unrestricted then.
Yeah.
So that's kind of brutal. I was hoping to be like, oh, dude, we'll just get one of those like 4 years, like $50 million contracts when he'd just be like, oh my God, $50 million.
I'm making the minimum now. I can make it. Yeah, that's not happening.
That's not going to happen now. So, yeah, it's crazy what he brings to that team because they're useless without him.
He's going to be a max guy, bar an injury.
If he keeps this going, we'll see.
I mean, even if it's a slight drop off from this, you have to max him. I mean, Andrew Bogut's getting $13 million a year. Protecting the rim will get you a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, if he keeps this up, you're looking at minimum 15 to 17 a year.
Because Roy Hibbert makes the max, and he's a trash can.
Yeah, right. Ugh. Why can't we extend him now? So, yeah, I don't know. The Heat, they'll hold on to that 7-8 spot, I think. I don't want them to. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah. There's no point to losing in the first round.
So
I mean, because if they match up with the Hawks, they're toast.
Right.
They match up with the Wizards, they're toast. There's
no point. I think
they
Wade
match up with the Bulls. Maybe.
I think Wade and Bosh will be in a lot of rest the second half of the year.
A lot of mysterious injuries coming up there.
And the West is just such a monster. Like, who knows? Because some team can go all those teams are capable of going on like a 15-game winning streak, or also losing 10 games because they had a crazy strike. You just don't know. So,
it's all about health, man. It's
Yeah.
all about the health.
I just hope the Warriors stay healthy
Yeah, me too.
because they're super fun to watch. I hope the Blazers get their shit back together. Well, they're also beat up.
I bet Golden State at 7-1, so I'm a little biased.
That's good, man. Good odds.
Scary because it's just like you think about it, like what happens if they come up against the Spurs in the first round? Like, what if the Spurs are the 8th seed? Like that would terrify me.
Should.
You know, and like what if they get the Clippers in the second round again? Like Chris Paul.
Those games are so
They're
funny.
so back and forth. You know,
It's such a crazy matchup for the Warriors because they just tend to play awful against them. Like all those games are so low scoring.
but the only thing that gives me a little bit of faith is that Steve Kerr is a much better coach than Mark Jackson.
There is that.
But yeah, I would really. But even if they played the Thunder, like imagine they playing the Thunder in the first round.
Another crazy
That
series. Yeah.
terrifies me. Come on, Suns. I think here's what I think should happen. No, I'm not sort of any sort of official entity here, but I think the Western Conference should start tanking games to the Suns to keep the Spurs and the Thunder, well, at least keep the Thunder out of the playoffs.
I'm in. Yeah, why not?
Let's start a Kickstarter.
Do this, keep the Thunder up, but then watch the Thunder win the lottery or something stupid. Like, what?
Wait, Oklahoma's going to Oklahoma City. My head's exploding.
I would not enjoy that.
Don't worry, they would trade Russell Westbrook that year.
They would, right?
It'd be totally something that they would do.
So
Scott Brooks will mess it up.
Yeah, exciting second half of the year, man. It's gonna be fun to watch. And then it's just baseball starts. Ugh.
College baseball starts.
Ooh, college baseball.
More
Both in on
exciting.
that.
Yeah, both of us are in on that. So, all right, man. Well, it's good catching up with you. Good doing this in person.
Yeah.
This is it's a nice dynamic. We actually looked at each other a little bit this time. It's kind of weird.
I'm not supposed to look at the computer screen. So well, until next time, guys.
Yeah, he's Scotty C at the Scotty C Show. I'm at Rye_guy on Twitter, and you can always find the shows at h3cruising.wordpress.com, or you can come into Sweetwater on Woolbright and Federal Friday and Saturday nights, and we can all just do a show there live at the bar.
Yeah, we'll have a good time. We'll drink some Fernet and ink.
Yeah, Fernette's actually growing on me. It's disgusting. I hate myself for it.
You learn to love it.